I don't know why it went there. That's so weird. Hey guys, I'm Doctor McFarland. It is Tuesday, August 12th, and we're going to talk about really whatever you want to talk about. I have titled the stream Still My Favorite Modeler, and maybe you can guess what that is. Maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm changing my mind too much, and it's hard to figure me out. I am using this new headset with a built-in microphone, and I'm still trying to figure out the best position so I'm not just like breathing into it all the time. But that means I can turn my head, I can do different things and not have to be pointing like right into a microphone or something like that. So if it was a more like a talking live stream podcast, I could easily just like stay in front of the mic and be fine. But when I'm have a guitar in my hands or I'm trying to reach over and like hit a button or do something over here, which this is a for those who are interested, this is a UTC warm-up book by Naoki Shikawa. So yeah, we're looking at like eighth note stuff, really for like marching snare drum type things. But these are great warm ups for drummers. You can go in here as a guitar player and you can work on, different picking type stuff, which is neat. I need to have this be my bass. Let me switch this over here. Maybe you can tell what I'm doing. Maybe you can't. I'm going to save that as my bass. There we go. All right. So yeah, you can take it. You can take inspiration, find inspiration in all kinds of non-guitar related books, right? You can. I'm sure you've heard it said multiple times from different popular guitar players over the years that they learned their phrasing and their style by mimicking like saxophone players and their favorite vocalist or trombone player or whoever it is, right? So I feel like I hear the pee pops in my ear, so that probably means that you're hearing it as well. So I'm trying not to get this like right in the way, but you let me know how it sounds. Oglapix, what's up, man? Remind me again where you're from. I'm not. Maybe from Florida, maybe California. I don't remember. Arizona. I am using the Yamaha RevStar. I am not sponsored at all by Yamaha, but this is a stinking good deal, right? You can get this guitar for $849 at Zounds, Sweetwater, Amazon. I'll have affiliate links down below if you want to check that out. And when you do, I do get a little bit of commission from your sale or from your purchase at no extra cost to you, by the way. That's how affiliate links work. You don't have to like give up extra money just to support your favorite YouTubers or online personalities. But yeah, this thing has a nice glossy body. It's got a silk neck, okay, and that neck heel right here. Let me turn down the volume so you don't hear all the weird stuff. The neck heel is really awesome. Okay, it just kind of seamlessly flows right into the body. So as you're playing, rather high up. I mean, you're not hearing or you're not hitting like a hard squared off neck heel, like on a Les Paul or on a Fender or anything like that. So yeah, Oglapix is Southern California. I feel like in my ear, the microphone sounds pretty good. I could potentially like lower some mids, maybe take out some high mids or something. Maybe something like this. I'm not sure. I did a video recently where it didn't sound like it was weird, but after I was editing the video, I was like, man, that microphone sounds really thin. And I think I had the high pass filter up a little too high, possibly. So right this second, I'm actually boosting a little bit of lows because of the way the microphone is positioned to the mouth. It's different things. So it's not a huge deal. I'm gonna ease up on the Q on this lower mid band, stuff like that. So, cool. Look at that. Okay. So I am using the Yamaha TF5 as my main studio hub. This is the mixing board. This is my fader movement, not for the DAW, but just for general mixing. Okay. I have all my drums that are back here, the Zildjian Alchemy kit. I have 10 signals coming out of that into 10 channels on the board. I have a bass channel, which is connected to my Quilter V803 bass block. That's just a good all around, no fuss, no muss, no menu diving. Just plug your bass into that amp head and get a great sound by turning a few knobs. Then I do have a desk microphone here, and I have currently these two channels, 13 and 14, are called Cub US and Cub UK. They're kind of meant to be hooked up to my, you can kind of see that right back there. That is my Quilter Aviator Cub UK. Then over here, I have the Aviator Cub US. So I kind of planned that if I wanted to have like a cool stereo amp in the room type thing, I could run some lines there. And I do have a direct box, multiple direct boxes actually, that I can use to connect different line inputs to XLR channels back to the board. Or right this second, I do have those two channels connected to this little area here. So if I want to plug in a Fractal or a Kemper or a Helix or any other XLR output, I can do it there. Then I have my Toemaster Pro outputs. I have 4 outputs from the vocal booth, which has 4 mic lines in there. So I have a booth, top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right, and then 4 pretty much open channels, except for channel 24, which is what I have the new headset on. Then I have 8 channels of computer playback. And what that is I got PC left and right for like YouTube playback or music type stuff. Then I have my DAW left and right coming back from Mixbus. I have a click output. Then I have a virtual or amp sim or virtual instrument output. So whether I have Superior Drummer open or some kind of like amp sim plugin like the Kiesel Hyper Rig or anything like that. So I pretty much have 32 channels filled up right in front of me. And that allows me to not have to patch all the time, and I can just grab a fader, make a quick volume adjustment, and it's pretty quick and easy to do all that kind of stuff. So with all that said, I do have a Yamaha bass as well. So I'm kind of surrounding myself with some Yamaha stuff. Yamaha board, Yamaha guitar. I have a Yamaha 5-string bass, which is really nice. And they're not expensive at all. I mean, this was, like I said, $849. The Yamaha bass was, I think, $600, maybe a little bit more, maybe $699, something like that. But yeah, they're just good quality instruments, and they sound good. They feel good. They're rugged, road tested, all the things. Okay. All right. So with that said, let me know what your thoughts or comments are down in the chat, and I can address anything that you want to talk about today. But for right now, let's actually talk about my currently my favorite modeler. And this is not saying that I still don't love other, all the other modelers that are out there. I mean, they're all great, right? They're all stinking great. They do the job. and I enjoy all of them. But for me, I mean, I like the Tollmaster Pro is really probably the top winner for me. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you a few reasons why. And if you own products like preset packs or from other maulers that I've provided over the years, don't think that, oh, I've made a bad choice and I should go with whatever Dr. McFarland tells me to get. It's like, well, don't worry about all that. Use whatever you want to use, and I'll provide some nice presets and rigs that I've dialed in to my ears and my liking that, I think you should try out, that type of thing. But for me, the Tollmaster Pro is really just top notch. So let's talk about why that is. So first of all, you get a IEC power supply. And I know there's other units that have IEC power. But for the size this thing is relatively small. I do have a tape measure right here. So let me see how wide this is. I don't remember. It is about, it's about 14 and a half inches wide, and it is about 10 inches deep. Okay. So that to me, that is still going to be smaller than the new Helix Stadium or the Line 6 Stadium. I guess they're calling it Helix still, Helix something. So it's relatively small. It's definitely a little bit bigger than the Quad Cortex, but the Quad Cortex has the wall wart power supply on the back, and I just can't stand that. That was one of the reasons why I did not connect with the Quad Cortex, and I ended up selling it. The Tollmaster Pro has 10 foot switches, okay? And you can utilize those to do bank up and down. You can do, song view. You can do preset view. You can do stomp view. You can do a combination of scenes and stomps, which is really cool. There's a tap tempo, a dedicated looper. You have to hold the foot switch mode to access the looper. You have to hold the tap tempo to access the tuner. So there's, lots of great options there. What you're seeing here on the screen is the online editor, not online editor, but just the Tollmaster Pro app you can download on your machine. Also have the app on my phone. Let's see what I got here. Not that one. Where is all my stuff? I'm looking. All right, here we go. Oh, I got to download a different one. Okay, that's fine. But anyway, you can have it on your phone. You can have it on an iPad. So whether you have, your mobile device sitting on a stand, you can just reach over and touch stuff on the screen. And it's great. You can also, but that's pretty much about it. So you got the computer, you got the iPad, you got the phone, and it all connects seamlessly and just works really well. Okay. So with that said, another thing I like, other than the power and the integration with control on a desktop, iPad, or phone, the switches are also turnable. So they can be used as potentiometers to change anything on the screen. So for example, if I choose the amplifier here, I can reach over. Let me go in here. What am I doing? I am trying to do two things at once. You may be able to see this. Yeah, you can. So I'm turning the knob on the device itself, and you can see it change on the screen. Okay. That's really cool. Okay. And I could easily take my finger on the screen and move it that way, which I'm doing right now. But, actually reaching over on a knob or some kind of foot switch thing and turn it that way, it's just like turning a real knob on an amp. So you get the tactile nature of using real knobs and everything like you would in real life on your actual amp or your actual pedals. And, it's just a seamless transition going from tube amp, solid state amp to full pedal board with maybe like a gig rig switcher or a Boss ES8 or whatever, right? So you got the tactileness of the Tonemaster Pro. Now that leads me to the next reason why I just like maulers in general and not just, one particular one, is the reason that I don't have to have a full pedal board with all my delays and reverbs and overdrive pedals, wall pedals, whatever else, pogs, filter effects, whatever I've had on all my previous boards in the past, right? And then have to plug those into some kind of switching system to where when I hit one button, it turns on and off different combinations of pedals, or at least engages them in the loop. It doesn't actually physically turn the pedals off or on, because technically you leave all the pedals on, and then the switcher just brings them in and out of the loop, depending on what preset you've chosen to set that up with. And this is I'm serious, guys. This has been the struggle, since a long time ago. I had a full pedal board ready to go. I had a Boss ES8 switcher, which I actually use for multiple different boards. I have a board somewhere. It's not on my desktop. I'll have to do a whole nother video, kind of going back through some previous boards. I actually have an older video if you want to watch that from a few years ago, where I talked about all the different amps I've used and all the different pedal board setups I've had, or at least the vast majority of them that I've had. And going digital is just, for me, makes so much sense. Okay, once you get past the menu diving and the where to turn and where to push and all the different things, once you get that set as a preset, as a rig, whatever you want to call them, it's just a no-brainer for me. Okay, so with that said, a digital mauler provides the solution of having your clean sound, or let's just say this, of going from a verse to a chorus to a bridge to a solo to a outro, all the different sections of a song that you would want. A digital mauler does that for you. Okay, and you can even change the amp between different sections of the song, which most professionals do not suggest that. You want coherency in your sound, and not go from like, I want a Vox on this song, then I want a Princeton on this song, and then I want a Marshall Jubilee on this song, and then I want to go to a Soldano in the chorus section, or I might want to go to a Mezza Boogie on the bridge. It's like this. It's too much switching, but the fact that you can do that can be very powerful, and also can be very, a lot of wasting time, if you want to think of it that way. Okay. If you go to a country gig, you're going to see more than likely a Fender Twin or a Fender Deluxe on the stage. The guitar player might have like a little slapback echo, some overdrive and compression, and that might be their whole rig. And everything else literally comes from their fingers, right? It's actually just playing the notes on the fretboard and doing cool stuff like that, and not relying so much on the effects to do everything for them. Which I know, if you're getting into digital modeling, you're like, oh, I can have literally any sound I want. And then you spend hours tweaking sounds and not actually practicing your instrument. But maybe you've already spent 20 years practicing your instrument and you're already Joe Satriani level good, and you can afford to spend 5 hours tweaking one preset. I mean, I don't know, but I think there's priorities there of your time, which is why some people just choose to buy preset packs, like, oh, just give me this guy's preset pack and it'll sound sound fine for what I need. And I'll go in, maybe like tweak a little bit, and then it'll just be good, instead of having to get everything from scratch. So we got So let's do a slight recap here. We got the IC power, we have the size, we have the foot switches that can also be turned to adjust things on the screen, whether that's on the actual computer or the screen itself. You do have song mode, you do have preset mode, you do have scenes view, scenes / stomps, to where you can do a combination of those as well. And then once you get past all that, the sounds of the Toemaster Pro sound just as good to me as the Fractal or the Kemper or the Headrush or the Helix. I mean, yes, all these units sound amazing. You can get them to do literally anything you want, okay? But it's really as you can kind of hear me talking, it's really about the workflow of how the different units work and how much it makes you work to figure out the units and get the sounds, and figure out how to get all the things that you want to do. So with all that said, there are definitely some quirks about the Toemaster Pro that, sometimes I just wish I could click on the actual foot switch on the GUI and have that turn on off the pedal, instead of having to click on it and then go hit bypass, unbypass, because then you got to open up every single thing just to do stuff. And, that can slow you down a little bit. It's the same thing if you're touching the actual, the screen on the actual unit itself. So there's a little bit of, things to get used to. There's also, that's why I didn't like some things about the Quad Cortex. I couldn't get on with the workflow side of it. I just didn't like how you had to keep pressing certain things to get in certain features and whatever else. And to me, the ease of use of the Toemaster Pro is just, second to none. Now, the Headrush, I think the Toemaster Pro is a very good marriage between the Headrush, the size of the Fractal AX8, which I did love the form factor of that, and also the turnability of the foot switches like the Quad Cortex. And does it really take anything from the Helix? Maybe not. Probably doesn't do really all that much from the Helix. Now, if it had capacitance switches where if you can just touch it and you can just start adding right away, that would be more of like a Helix feature. But yeah, as far as like the touchscreen of the Headrush, the foot switch functionality of the Quad Cortex, and then the overall size of the Fractal AX8, I think the Toemaster Pro is just a perfect amalgamation of all three of those units. And it's really everything that the Headrush could have been, honestly. I've said that multiple times over the years since the Toemaster Pro has come out. It's like, wow, if only Headrush would have done what like Fender did, that would have been really cool. I think Headrush, as great as it is, and as much as I love it, I do love the Headrush. It was one of my first big boy maulers from like 8 years ago. There's just certain things about the Headrush that I've always had to compromise on. And even though they've added more features, I still think it's just a compromise versus actually having the best options available on the unit itself. So the Toemaster Pro really just fixes all that. It has great reverbs, great delays. It has all the Fender amps you'd ever want on there. It's got plenty of other high gain amps that sound amazing. And then once you get the EQ in there, you can shape. There's multiple different EQ options in here, and you can shape the sound literally however you want. And you can do some split path things in there. And there's a the Fractal units, they definitely have the top of the game there when it comes to actually splitting and having a totally customizable signal path. But I mean, for the most part, all that extra fancy fractal type stuff is not really needed. And for the vast majority of players, I mean, if you can just split the end of your path to where you have one set of outputs going to either front of house or an audio interface, then have a second output that bypasses the cabinet. What did I do here? Oh, there it is. Yeah. There's all the rest of my stuff. So you see I have 2 cabs on the very end, but I don't have any cabs on the bottom path here. So that allows me to have my main XLRs go to my mixing board, and then I can send the 1/4-inch outputs of output 2 to my quilter amplifiers right behind me. So I can get a cool, like, in the room stereo type sound. Okay. Landon's in the house. What's up, Landon? As fickle as they come. Yes, you are. You are very fickle. I've had this longer than most, so nice to have the real amp names in the UI too for most of the amps I love in real life. Yes, I agree. I agree. You can swipe left and right on the effects. That speeds things up a little. Yeah, that is true. This is true. This is what Landon's talking about. If you open one up, well, you have to do it on the unit itself. You have to go, like I have to open this up and just swipe, which you can't see on the screen. Like there's no way to like mimic that on the screen. But yes, you can just swipe that way. And that is an easy way to turn things on and off. And I changed the gain setting, man, just by doing that. So you got to be careful where you're swiping on the screen, because otherwise you might touch one of the knobs or whatnot. But yeah, I'm not going to save this preset right now. And I've gone back and forth between different amp combinations. Like this one right now is the Princeton Reverb, but I also have the Uberschall from Bogner in there. So what I have, I'll show you my my scenes here. So I basically have one green box that I can turn on and off, and the other 7 are scenes that I've created. Okay, so if I turn on my trim, I get a little tremolo, right? And it sounds nice. Then if I go to my Princeton Rhythm, it's the same amp, but I've driven it a little bit more. You can see that by the volume's now on 10, versus if I went to trim, you can see the volume goes down to 5. Okay, so that's just a few different ways to use the same amp, but that's how the Toemaster Pro mimics the Helix. The scene setup is really as simple as, choosing the scene, and then each parameter or each block now has a scene edit, which I'll show you here. See this scene edit right here? So if you go from scene to scene and just go and change whatever parameters you want, it stores those per scene, just like the Helix. Okay, so I was trying to think of like how do they mimic the Helix, but that's exactly how they do it. And I wish Headrush would have done it that way. In certain ways, Headrush is I wouldn't say a little more flexible, but it's still a viable way of setting up scenes. But I just, I prefer the Helix style that the Toemaster Pro has adopted in their unit for setting up scenes in that way. So just to go back, so we got and you technically have 9 scenes in here. Okay, so you have your base scene, which means with nothing selected, you can have a setting be your core sound. So right now I just have the amp and a little bit of tremolo or a little bit of reverb, right? Now if I go to my trim, see that turns on my trim. Then if I go to my Princeton Rhythm, it cranks the rhythm or cranks the volume up. And then Princeton Lead turns on the delay of my Tube Screamer. And I could technically use the, I could either use the amp volume, which is currently set to 62. I could turn that up a little bit more for my lead to get a little bit more volume out of it, or I could just use the gain on the EQ and boost the gain up a little bit to actually get a volume boost for because typically when you go for a lead, you want a little volume boost there. And then Princeton Clean, I have, this is really my ambient patch. So I have a little bit of cloud reverb and some delay. Okay, and then I got my Uber Rhythm, which brings it bypasses the Princeton amp and then goes to my Uber amplifier. Okay, I got Uber Scream, which turns on the Tube Screamer and also turns on my my delay. Okay. Then I have Uber Ambient. I heard some rattling downstairs. Then I have Uber Ambient, which turns on the cloud and delay. Okay. And now this is really, I could keep saving this same preset over and over and then just tweak a little bit. Maybe on one sound I want a flange, and maybe on another I want even more ambient reverb or a swell sound or just whatever it is, right? So it's good to have starting places, which is why you download other people's presets. Hint, hint, I have all my presets for Toadmaster Pro down in the description, or at least I will after this live stream. And that's a one-time fee of $20, by the way. So it's a great way to help support the channel. And you can get all the presets I make for this unit in the future, or now and in the future. So yeah, download other people's rigs, figure out why they like certain things, and then might give you some inspiration on how to actually dial in sounds that you like and things that you want to kind of have a goal to do. Let's see. Landon also says, I think it's the best features from the TCG system. Yeah, I can see that. QC and the Heteros Helix. Yep, that's true. You can swipe there too. Okay, what am I doing wrong then? What am I doing? Well, I mean, you can do this. Well, hold on. Let me open this up. Oh, I see. You just have to click. You have to click on it and swipe. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah. Clearly, it's not something I've done like ever or all that often. But yes, that's a different. Now I've just changed my preset. What the crap? Let's go here. Okay, so I'm going to click on this. You can swipe, click and drag with your mouse. Go across different things. There you go. Okay. Now that is that preset. Okay, and this is a really good preset. There's also another one called Doc Twin 5150. So a lot of my presets I've uploaded to my website are different combinations of amps that I like to use. So for example, I guess the bass sound is, let me go here. All right, this is a twin with a tremolo. I got a Timmy and a Tube Screamer in here, so which those sound good together. Just the twin with the tube. Here's just the Timmy. Here's a Timmy with a boost. Then you got a rhythm sound with the EVH. Which really the boosted Timmy sounds equally as good, I think. Versus the EVH. Switching to another high gain amp always has a little bit more low end like punch and girth to me versus a distortion or overdrive from an actual pedal. So if I want just a bigger sound, I'll choose an amp. But sometimes just a pedal is fine. Right, then here's my lead sound. But I want to be able to bypass that and go to, let me do this. I'm going to go here and then turn off the tremolo. Let's see. No. Okay, I see what I gotta do. I gotta switch this around. I'm gonna do this on the screen so you can see what I'm doing. So the problem is I don't really have the bass channel that I want. So if I turn this off to bass, I'm back on the EVH. Okay, so let's do Landon's little thing here. We're gonna go here and we're gonna swipe over. I'm going to have the delay off. Yeah, the tremolo is still off. Spring is on. Maybe I turn that up just a little bit. Something like that. Okay. Then my speaker, which is a one of my impulse responses from Doctor McFarland, or actually from Sonic DNA. But I'll go ahead and save this. And now my bass preset is, or my bass scene is just a clean sound. Actually, this is still on. Let's turn off that green box there. There we go. Now I can save it. And it works. Then turn on my trim. Then turn on whatever this is. Turn on this. I think the twink sound, which I don't know why I have it called that, but I'm going to crank this up. I'm going to crank this all the way up. Okay, let's save that one. All right, so once again, we have clean, and then cranked, trim. So even the amp alone, you got 3 different great sounds there between the clean, the trim, and the cranked amp. And then you start adding in other, overdrive pedals in front of the amp to get other nuances of sound. And then you switch to another amp. See, I think the cranked Fender Twin sounds just as good as a cranked or a EVH. Right? Yeah, I think it all sounds good to me. So with that said, And plus, the size of the Toastmaster Pro allows me to have it on this little pull-out tray in my studio. So it just always lives. It basically just lives in the rack of my beside my studio desk, and I can just pull it out. I can tweak with it, and it's always plugged into the computer, so I can just bring up the desktop editor here and tweak things that way if I want to. And yes, Landon, thank you for the tip there. It is what it is. But yeah, those are all the reasons why I love the Toastmaster Pro. It really is about the size and the convenience and the real life UI that it has on the screen. So it's very inspiring to use. And I mean, it's small. And I know there's a new Line 6 Stadium and Stadium XL that's coming out, which is, a little bit more than the Toastmaster Pro. Let's do some shopping real fast, just so you can see what those options are. Hidden browser. Let's go here. So we're going to go to Zounds, which is my preferred affiliate partner. I do get commission when you use this link, and I appreciate all who want to do that. So let's go to Toastmaster Pro, right? You can get this sucker right now for $16.79. I feel like that is a price increase. I feel like it is. Now, it says limited time only. Add this item to your cart to unlock 10% off at checkout. I'm not sure what kind of deal they have going on. Let's actually go to Fender Toastmaster Pro, because you can buy these direct from the website, and it's still the same. It's $16.79. I feel like they went up in price. Something happened here. Maybe it's tariffs. Maybe it's something. Whatever that is, but so you can pay $57.41 a month. So the Zounds 12-month plan is $140. It's no interest. Easy payment plans, no interest ever. There's no credit checks. You just literally add it to your cart, say, hey, I want the 12-month plan, and you just start paying $140 a month till it's paid off, or essentially within the year, right? You could have the option to pay more if you want to. And you also get I feel like you get a 45-day return policy anyway. So if you bought the unit and you just didn't like it or couldn't figure out a way to pay for it or something, you could always just return it. No questions asked. You get a full refund, and you're good to go on that one. So, but yeah, $16.79. That's interesting. So we do have the Helix Stadium, which is $17.99. So it's really not that much more. It's about $140 more or so. It's not too bad, really. This one's not coming in till January 30th because these are, pre-order only. And then the Stadium XL, which is a whopping $21.99. Yeah, it's a lot. That's more than Fractal at that point. But apparently it just does way more things than the original Helix does. You can click on the screen and move it around to change your preset parameters in real time. Not preset parameters, but your block parameters in real time. Now I think before they had 16 Agora amps, and now they've upped it to 20 or 24 or something. Maybe they've added more since then. There's also going to be some proxy cloning type thing happening maybe next year sometime. But it's all the same foot switch options that you're used to with the capacitance switches and all that. And honestly, it looks like a great unit. It looks very fun to use. But with all the extra bells and whistles that they have, which is like the click track stuff, the stem separation option if you're playing live. I mean, this is really for someone who is professionally playing live, and you need every single bit of features that it has, right? I think for the vast majority of home players, 21, let's just say $2,200 is going to be a hard sale. Okay. It is. I mean, that's a lot of money. But I mean, a Fractal AX8 or sorry, XFX 3 is, let's just look at that real fast. I feel like it's 2,300. Fractalaudio.com. Let's go to shop. All right, so XFX is $24.99. So let's just say $2,500. Sometimes you can get $100 off if you need it during certain times throughout the year. The Mark II Turbo is $17.99, and the Mark III Turbo is $10.99. So, or $1,099. So yeah, I mean, really, the FM9 is in the same kind of price range as your Fender Toastmaster Pro, as your not the XL, but definitely the just a regular Stadium. And I really wish this had scribble strips on it, but it doesn't. But you can see this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is actually 12 foot switches, where the Toastmaster Pro only has 10. So it's definitely going to be a little bit wider. Let's go down to the specs. The shipping dimensions are 22 by 16, but that's just shipping. The actual dimensions are, I'm not sure. Okay. So if you're considering buying your first unit and you just don't know what to get, I mean, even though the Toastmaster Pro is $1,779.99, and if you add it to the cart right now, over at Zounds, you can get 10% off. I'm sure if you called your Sweetwater rep over at Sweetwater, you could get 10 to 15% off, possibly. I mean, I'm not sure. It never hurts to ask. Or you can find somebody on Marketplace that has a gently used Toastmaster Pro, and you can probably find it for, 13 or. Let's go to old Facebook over here, and let's see what we got. I have been looking at Teslas here lately, but I'm not in the financial shape right now to buy a Tesla. Though, for $9,200, you could get this baby right here. That is flipping sweet, man. I don't know if it has 100 or 1 million miles on it. That sounds kind of crazy, but it's from 1957. Wow. 3-speed on the column with original engine, has new tires just put on them. That's nuts. Okay, so I think that's worth it. Do I want to get a Toastmaster Pro here? There's one in Nashville with a flight case for $1,200. You can get the Toastmaster Pro and probably the FRFR speaker for $2,000. That's a pretty decent deal. That's the only ones I'm seeing for sale right now. There's one in Kentucky for $1,100. So you can see that you can definitely find some used options out there for, definitely 12, anywhere from like 1,000 to like 1,300, I would say. So just use, your best judgment on that, and, whatever. But so whether you want to buy new, hint, hint, go through my affiliate link, or you buy used, I don't care. It's your money. You can spend it however you want. and you can support me however you want, right? You can use the affiliate link. You can go to my website and buy some backing tracks or some Fender Toolmaster Pro presets for $20, whatever that is, and whatever. So, yeah. Let me know if you have any other questions for today. I got some studio project stuff that I'm working on for some clients. I got some songs we got to finish up. Mostly just like some recording different, extra auxiliary parts like guitar parts and whatnot. Adding some percussion type stuff and getting those done. And I try to surround myself with all the tools that I need to, finish those tracks as quickly and efficiently as I can. So I have my bass amp. I got my Toolmaster Pro here. I got a Yamaha in front of me that I can quickly adjust different levels. I have a pull-out fader port 16 that I actually use it for my DAW controller. So you can see I can move faders up and down and whatnot. And, I got a little Strobo Plus tuner right here if I need to tune something on my acoustic. I got a microphone here I can put in front of an acoustic guitar or like a shaker or something, whatever it is. And, yeah, so that's about all I got for today. If there's not any other questions that I can answer, we got Landon and Ogilapix mainly chatting it up right now, or at least in the last hour. So there's other 5 people watching. Not sure who you are because you hadn't told me. Maybe you're just shy. You don't want to share your information. But whatnot. So I do have, I'm going to go eat some dinner and then probably watch some basketball tonight. And then later tonight, after basketball is over, I'll come back to the studio and I got some videos to work on for this month. And also I need to take my Headrush stuff and upload some rigs for the some previous HTS rigs video live streams that I've done that I have not uploaded yet, and I'm sorry about that. Sometimes I'm both lazy and just lazy. So, but if you want to, and if you like what you see here on this channel, I just don't do live streams once a week. I do other pre-made videos where I go over different topics and different review type stuff. So if you want to subscribe down below and click the bell, that'd be appreciated. And until next time, I am Dr. McFarland. I will see you in the next video. Keep rocking.